This is an Uvel's Forest Development Diary, and I am Cabbage. Joel Le Cabbage. The game I'm making with my wife started out as a game my girlfriend and I wanted to make over a couple of weeks of holidays we had together. Our original idea was a game about travelling into a selection of maps and exploring them for story as you unlocked powers, allowing the player to get further and deeper into each level. After we had drawn art and done some programming together over the holidays we had, the spark turned into a fire and developed, through a lot of talking, into a more conventional 2D RPG. During our holiday, as we walked through a Sunday market, the last stall we came to had a small jewellery box I nearly walked away from, until Mrs. Cabbage pointed out it could be a music box. We listened to it, and we both thought the music box suited Uvel's Forest so much that we bought it, and it's kind of become the main soundtrack in our minds. The lady from the stall and my dad both told us that it was Memory by Barbara Streisand, but we've both listened to the song multiple times, and we really just can't hear it. If you know what it is, please share, because we would love permission to use the music box in Uvel's Forest. Otherwise, we might find a musician willing to make a song inspired by the music box, and see how that goes. My now wife and I both love stories. Fantasy, cool magics, and things that make us think. Mrs. Cabbage in particular, but generally both of us, thoroughly love world building too. If it might give some indication of the story we are writing, my favourite books are Mort by Terry Pratchett and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Book 4. Mrs. Cabbage's are Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, The Horse and His Boy, Rescue from Ithril, Redwall, Mara, Daughter of the Nile, Cat's Eye, and Black Beauty. These development diaries that I'm making for us will share the creation of a big, introspective, new, frustrating, lovingly made world of ecosystems and characters. Gameplay and mechanics too. We're going to do our best to not make it too big as well. Mrs. Cabbage is writing a book series that started out as one book and has turned into 5 very long books, so we're not off to a good start. I also love to Dungeon Master Dungeons & Dragons for my friends, thinking about the events in the world and how they play off of each other, the people who live in the world, and creating creatures and ideas that can cause stories I hadn't imagined would unfold right in front of me. I don't think we, as two people, can achieve a game so adaptable. But we can leave a world in your hands for you to remember and wonder about for the rest of your life, much like Douglas Adams and Terry Pratchett have done for me. Back during 2024, we started on our first test level, neither of us having much understanding for building a large project like this. It turned out looking really pretty, but we didn't know to avoid making a fixed image for the level that can only be edited by redrawing it, or to leave room for dynamic lighting. Even still, we've come out with some really good concepts, if not final products, for some of the art. Like the Blowbug, Fartflower, and the main character herself, a creature we call a Bira. Being akin to a game jam when we started it, the codebase for the game was messy and unthought out. As far as my roles are concerned, I'm definitely starting again. This time we're working on laying a really deep foundation, a really strong foundation for Uvel's Forest. Each section of development we can think of is something we're intentionally processing, and making reliably reusable and planned out systems is a large factor in how I'll program everything. Speaking of, we won't be using any AI for making this game. Do what you want and think what you will, but Uvel's Forest is artistic creation presented by my wife and I, and it needs to be human-made, otherwise it won't feel right. Even if AI could make the perfect game, it still needs to be made by our hands for it to be what it is meant to be. No shades being thrown here. The tools we are using are Godot for the engine, Critter for the drawing, Audacity and DaVinci Resolve for the sound effects, and potentially more that we haven't decided on yet. I'm writing the code and making the sound effects, Mrs. Cabbage is drawing the art, and together we are designing and writing the story. Though we know some talented musicians who can definitely write the music the game deserves, I am foraying into learning music, so we sort of remain undecided on who will write music beyond what the music box holds. So far, throughout this year, I've been able to secure about 1 to 2 nights a week for video editing and game development. This has led to work on the story, the world it sits in, and building the ever so practical code base that gives me nothing much fun to show off. In a way, it sucks, but it definitely feels good to know some cogs are turning in the proverbial background, leading me to a point I haven't actually solved yet, which is figuring out what to share here while leaving the right amount of room for discovery. I've gone for the very particular title of this video, Development Diary, because I want these to be a sharing process that doesn't just encapsulate Uvel's forest, but the life and creativity surrounding it. At the moment, I expect we will be providing a surface-level glance at the story contained within the regions in the game, and maybe some of the questy pieces of the world, and lots of the people in the world, adding to their lore. I think I said that right. Adding to their lore by introducing the NPCs, like people and societies you'll get to meet. Part of the design I'm thinking about is how much fun can come out of leveling up in a direction of your choice, in the goofy way Skyrim has done it. Something of that nature could be beyond me and this project right now, but the concept of builds has room to be a part of the game. Detailing the movement is fun. A Bira is a small, gentle, floating sprite, and we would really like to have slopes in the game. The result we've landed on for now is to have the character's up direction as perpendicular to the ground she is standing on, until the ground is beyond something like a 25-degree slope, at which point she begins to slide down. That should allow her to move left and right with a pleasant amount of freedom, but of course it requires experimenting. And now, in the final 20 seconds of the video, thank you for participating in this fantasy with us. I have some ending thoughts, and then this motion picture will end. This new start of ours has been quite slow, and the beginning of this year has gone lightning fast. I've never been one for saying that a year has gone by fast, because the people who say it are guilty of saying it every year. But man, I'm feeling it. Funnily enough, it's 2 years later, and we have some holidays from our jobs coming. I'm on holidays now, and Mrs. Cabbage goes on holiday at the end of tomorrow. Maybe it's a sign of good things.